Welcome to the Nola podcast. Raw, honest, relatable experiences that help us grow. Are you subscribed? If not, what are you waiting for? Go! And please, leave a review and help us grow while you're at it. Thank you.
On this episode of the Nola podcast, the thing about rowdy, aggressive people that we don't usually talk about, we're going to find out what you didn't know, the SOA Q&A, and of course, today's happy habit. I think we all, well, maybe not all of us, many of us have that one person in our lives who you can't take them anywhere. Why? Because they get rowdy. If they are under the influence of alcohol or something like that, they're probably the one who we expect is probably going to start a fight. This person can come across very mean. They're super aggressive, very abrasive, and a lot of the times probably even violent, right? Now, I want to have this conversation because I grew up with a lot of people like that. People in my family, people outside of my family. And the one thing that I've noticed over the years about people like that, when we bring those names up, it kind of feels like there's a badge of honor, right? It kind of feels like some people respect those people a little bit more. If I say, my mom don't play that, or, such and such, don't let her find out, or my uncle, man, if my uncle was here. And I think it's important to have a nice balance of energy in the community, to be honest with you. Sometimes there are situations that require that you do bring out that person who will go there. I'm not a person who promotes or glorifies violence, but sometimes you need to be protected. And it just so happens that in those moments, those might be the people that we call on, right? Those might be our people that we tap for the smoke because we know they'll go there. But the thing about that is, yes, we do glorify these people at times. Yes, we do. Some of us fear these people, and we often confuse that with respect. But the thing about this that I want to talk about is the mental health of these people, right? So I remember one time I got my hair braided at an African hair braiding salon in Brooklyn on East 95th near Rutland Road. I don't even remember exactly what happened, but a conflict came up between with the braider. Something was happening with the braider. I don't know if I felt violated, if my hair was too tight. I don't remember what it was, but first of all, I'm very tender-headed, and it's possible that I might have expressed that and something came of it. But somebody went to my house and told my aunt and my mom about it. And within minutes, I stepped outside. My mom and my aunt are coming down the block. And for years, we talked about this story. We were pretty much bragging about it, right? Like, my mom and my aunt do not play with their people. They're going to pull up. The problem with that is we don't focus enough on why are people resorting to violence. Why is it that they choose to be violent? Why is it that they choose to be abrasive or super aggressive when it's not necessary? Why do we even tap into that energy space? And that's what I think isn't talked about loudly enough. Now, why do people even do that? There's a couple of reasons, in my opinion, and then there's also science. Well, for one, we know that scientifically, this is the science part of it, right? I don't know if you know this or not, but when you walk through your day, every single moment of your day, your brain is changing. Yeah, your brain is constantly being rewired. It's nonstop. As I'm talking to you right now, and you might be getting new information from me, this might be old information, but if it's new information, if it's old information, there's something that's happening within your brain that's changing it. Maybe the rewiring is changing your perspective. Maybe the rewiring is making you feel like, wow, I'm triggered, or whatever it is. But your brain is constantly changing. And I'm mentioning that because people who experience traumatic events, you can only imagine what happens to their brains when they have these experiences. Trauma can be a plethora of things. A lot of times we don't even realize we're being traumatized, right? So, me at one point bragging, saying, yo, when I used to go to school, I'd be walking down the block and I couldn't even wear a red jacket. Because this happened, true story, one time, Tommy Hilfiger reversible jacket, it's red. And I get to school and there's like 20 dudes across the street from my school and just as many police officers in front of my school. And they're across the street because the cops are like, y'all could stay across the street just as long as you don't come over here and start anything. So I'm on the side of the street with the cops because I'm about to go into the school building. I hear somebody across the street yell, "Shorty with the red jacket, when you come outside." And I'm there like, hold on, that's me. I'm Shorty with the red jacket. When I got inside that building, you know what I did? I flipped my jacket inside out to yellow because there was real fear inside of me. I know what could happen. I knew what could happen if I was wearing the wrong color at that time, right? So I didn't want to be a victim of some type of violent crime. So I flipped the jacket inside out. And as much as I joked about that over the years, I didn't even understand how traumatizing that was. I didn't even understand how that was changing me, making me harder, making me cranky, making me fearful. So when you see people or experience people who are aggressive, abrasive, have an attitude, and we might think it's cute at the time, but we really need to check on our people. Like, why are you so mad? Why are you constantly triggered and irritated? We don't even recognize that our people were probably traumatized, and these responses are trauma responses. We don't realize that they're easily triggered because when their brains are rewired, they're no longer able to regulate their emotions. They're no longer able to regulate themselves if a big feeling come up. They don't know what to do. A lot of us looked at those things as strengths, right? This person is tough. This person is hard. This person is thorough. Like, that was a word that we used back in the day. But nobody's looking at this, or a lot of us did not look at it as a weakness. We weren't focused on the fact that our people are not okay. Why are you always angry? Why are you constantly irritated? Every little thing is pissing you off. We didn't focus on that. We only focused on the fact that we respected this type of behavior. For whatever reason, we respected it. We're not thinking about the fact that people do this for attention. Sometimes it's an attention seeking thing, right? And they're probably crying out for something. I feel like the people who act out like that and they're crying out for help and they're telling you inadvertently, like, I need something. They're the ones who need the most nurturing, and we don't give it to them. We don't. If you're somebody who has always been that tough person, that thorough person, that hard person, speaking from a humanity standpoint, we're not supposed to be hard. We're not supposed to be hard. You are supposed to be, and I generally don't like to tell people how they're supposed to be, but ideally, when you have a bunch of hard people in a space, what do you think is happening in that space? You think people are happy? You think people are content with their life? You think people are treating each other well? They're not. And that's really a huge part of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about you identifying what's happening with you, you identifying what's happening with your people, and nurturing them, being there for them, giving them whatever it is that they need. Granted, you can accommodate it, right? Because really and truly, I'm just going to shift a little and talk about women in particular. This isn't good for anybody, right? But ladies, this is so unhealthy. This is so unhealthy when you are supposed to be the queen of your space. Your kids are afraid of you. I never, ever aspired to be a mom who's feared. And I never command or demand respect from my son, ever. I just naturally operate in a way that's respectful. I just naturally operate in a way that's respectable. So naturally, that respect is going to flow. We don't always have to be abrasive to get our points across. That's a communication issue. That's an issue with not knowing how to communicate your needs. These are all psychological things. These are all trauma responses when you feel like, I'm not getting what I want, so let me make mad noise. Because we all, listen, even me back in the day, I did it. Couple days here and there, I still tap into that energy as well because it's not fully gone. I'm not fully healed from that. But I remember hearing somebody say, these cashiers in the supermarket, like, you got to get rowdy with them. You have to. And there was constant arguing, like Walmart in Valley Stream. Walmart in Valley Stream, BJ's in Valley Stream. I have witnessed so many arguments on those lines between women and cashiers. Why? You might think this is how I get what I want, but guess what? You're not thriving. You're not thriving. When you are suspended in that energy where you feel like I have to destroy the environment around me, I'm going to constantly shake up the energy around me to get what I want or to unsuccessfully express my need, you can't thrive like that. And that fear that you aspire to create, you know what that fear does? It breeds hate. And at the end of the day, we are all looking for the same thing. We are all looking for the same thing. So even in that energy where you're being aggressive and abrasive and disrespecting people, you're still looking for love. That's ultimately what's going on. You're still looking for that respect, right? You want people to want you, to respect you, to love you, to like you. That's not a sustainable way to get that. And the people who admire that and the people who praise that and glorify it, that's all toxic energy just swirling around you. This is definitely something that we have to change the narrative about, because yes, sometimes it's funny because you see things happening and you're like, why is she so loud? But you have to Always, in all situations, take a step back and say, what's happening with this person? What's going on with you? Why are you feeling this way? Right? Men. The thing about men is men are generally physically stronger than women, right? So you already have that upper hand when it comes to having the advantage in certain situations. So when you mix that strength, the physical strength, with the traumatizing reaction and the uh, aggressive, abrasive, disrespectful energy, that can be a serious combination. That can be dangerous. And a lot of you, especially if you're big and strong and you know that you can physically take a person down, you mix that with someone who is traumatized, you could end your own life, right? Because what happens is people will size you up. A lot of times people get injured, hurt really badly, or even killed because the other person was so afraid that they sometimes kill them by accident. This is what you're doing. Like, this is the type of energy you're creating. So, who wants to heal? I feel like everybody wants to heal. Nobody wants to be in that energy. I don't think people want to be in that energy space. People want to be in harmony. People want to laugh, have a good time, connect with their people. We all thrive for that. We all keep pushing and moving forward because we want that. But a lot of us don't know how. I'm always recommending therapy. I am always recommending therapy. I am always pushing for therapy because the same way you hire a personal trainer to help you get your body right, the same way you go to a doctor because you're not sure of how to heal yourself, the same way you send your kids to school because teachers are qualified to give them the education that you want them to have, the same way how you tap into all of these people to help you with all of these things is the same way you can tap into a therapist who can offer you tools to heal, tools to communicate your needs, tools to get through the day, tools to help you harmonize with your community, your family, your friends. I don't know what a lot of people think therapy is, but I can tell you for sure that therapy is a great way to learn new things that you did not know before that can help you conquer these things that are holding you back. Because you're not thriving. You're not. You're not. You need to be honest about what you want to change and go after it. So if you speak with a therapist, say, I'm angry. Maybe you don't know why. Maybe you're not able to go back and pinpoint all of the experiences that shifted your energy into that space. Maybe you are depressed about something. There are so many reasons why a person might be rowdy, aggressive, hard, creating havoc, right? It's a long list of things that could be going on with you. And for some people, it might be one event, one thing that happened that shifted your brain. Now you're not experiencing life the same anymore. And you can't even help it. You can't even help it because that change already happened. For some people, the list of things that have happened to them is so long that they don't even know where to start. It might take a while. For some people, therapy takes years. I had one issue that I wanted to work on, and it took me 6 months with my therapist to kind of wear it down, and we got to a great space. And then we decided, all right, let's work on something else, right? It's like a part of your lifestyle. It's a continuous thing that you do for yourself. Not, let me go to therapy, knock this out, and then try to get out of there. No, It's beautiful to connect with somebody who has training and education and tools to teach you so that you know how to regulate and you know how to handle your stuff. It's a beautiful thing. I am a huge advocate when it comes to that. So that's the one thing that I recommend, because I want to see you feel calm. I want to see you not walk around all day long with your nervous system in constant fight or flight mode. And it probably feels crazy to some people when, you're probably on the calmer side of things and you're like, something has to be wrong. This is feeling too good, right? But really what you're doing is you're causing your body to not give your organs the attention it needs by constantly walking around with that energy. I see people walking around angry all the time. If you're in New York City, go to the hood somewhere, right? Go to the hood in Queens, go to the hood in the Bronx, Brooklyn, somewhere, and just observe the people. You don't see people joyfully bouncing down the street. You see a lot of low frequency, angry, aggressive energy. And there's no way you can be looking at that and thinking, oh, these people are just dominant people. They're the dominant ones in the community. We just respect them and love them. No. We know that something is wrong there. You know that something is going on with you. You know that something is wrong there. And you don't want to do that anymore. So I don't know who needed to hear this, but therapy helps tremendously. I would definitely tap into it. All right, so let's find out what you didn't know. And this is especially for you drivers who are so impatient and you love driving close to other people. Are you ever in a car with somebody driving and they're literally on the other person's, like, if that person steps on their brakes, you don't have enough reaction time to stop. We're going to hit them. It's so annoying to me. All right, so let me ask you, did you know tailgating doesn't speed up your commute, right? Research out of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology from 2017 suggests that if we all keep an equal distance, similar to how birds in flocks fly, we'll get to our destinations twice as fast. Twice as fast. The study confirmed that maintaining an equal distance between cars on either end of you gets you to your destination significantly faster than if you tailgate the car in front of you. Of course, you can't control the car behind you, which is why we all need to get on the same page and stop tailgating. You know what this makes me think of? This makes me kind of think of social distancing, right? And keeping that space between you. If there are 3 people in a space, I feel like, and I'm thinking about a supermarket. If there are 3 people in that space instead of 6, because 6 would mean that we're standing closer together, right? If there are 3 people in that space, I think we're going to get to the cashier and get out quicker, as opposed to if all 6 of us are bunched up in there. Give people some space. It makes absolute sense, because when you're bumper to bumper and you're causing a gridlock, it definitely slows things down more. I never even thought of that. But did you know? Okay, so this is the SOA Q&A segment where our producer, Shot of Adrenaline, will ask me questions and I have to answer them. All right, let's see what these questions are. Go, AD, go, AD, go! Get to my mic up. That's it. Go, AD, go, AD, go! Would I rather dating in the pre or current internet era? That's a really tricky question, because this also brings into account my mindset during those periods. So I've definitely evolved since the pre-era. I was also much younger, so it's a little bit of a tricky question. But what I will point out is people are having more and more trouble connecting with each other. And that's definitely a factor to consider, right? People knew how to walk up to each other. I remember seeing this picture online. It's a restaurant or a cafe or a bar in Brooklyn. I don't remember which one, but they had this chalkboard on the sidewalk that said, "We do not have Wi-Fi. Put your phone away. Talk to each other again." And I was like, my mind was blown, because I'm like, true. Everywhere you go, people's faces are in their phones because they don't even know how to connect anymore. A lot of people feel awkward, anxious, socializing. So if I had to choose, which technically I'm not really choosing an era, because I'm different, two different people at those times, I would definitely say, in general, I like the pre-internet for us as a whole. What's the most spontaneous thing I've ever done with a stranger? Smoke weed. um, is the one that came to mind first. So I was in Miami at I was stopping in Miami literally for one night just so I can see my dad after like 13 years. I hadn't seen him. I was on my way to LA to celebrate my best friend's birthday. So I was like, on my way to LA, let me stop in Miami, see him for that night, and then fly out the next morning. So I was waiting at the hotel where I was staying at, and he was taking so long to come, right? I was actually on South Beach, and he's further up in Florida, so he drove down. There are a bunch of people in the hotel lobby. Everybody's just talking. You know, you meet people at hotels. And these guys were like, yo, we're about to go outside and smoke. Even the bartender was joining them. And I was like, oh, for real? All right, this is like 2015. I was like, all right, I'm going to come with y'all. And we went outside. Even while we were by the pool, we were on the sidewalk. I'm there like, girl, what are you doing? But it turned out cool. It was a great time. How important is it to maintain friendships as you get older? It's actually crucial for survival, and that's science. You know, it's an opinion and mostly science that we need people. We need to connect with people. Studies show that people who connect less, they have shorter lives, and they have mental health issues. And the people who have a community, who connect more, they're happier, they live longer. And I'm gonna go with the science aspect of it, because I think people always need to hear it's science for them to really click with it. But definitely, friendships are very, very important. Have I ever been the one that people called to fight? Yes. Yes. And there are a couple of people who, I don't know if y'all listen to my podcast, but I remember getting a call one night. And the call was, oh, we're about to go to this girl. Her building is on Rockaway Parkway, close to Kings Highway. And that was the night where I was like, nah, I'm not coming. As a matter of fact, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not. I don't even understand the version of me, or fully understand the version of me that wanted to even be a part of that smoke. Because as you evolve out of spaces, sometimes you forget why you were in that space. I know, of course, there was a lot of trauma for me, but that was the night where I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, guys. And you know what happened? My relationship with that person changed dramatically, to the point now where we haven't even spoken for years. Like, I see her on social media. We will like each other's posts and send love and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think in that moment, she felt like, oh, she's not even doing this with me anymore. So I guess that's it. And the feeling was mutual. I don't want to do that type of stuff anymore. So my healing is an integral part of my journey, and that's what I'm choosing to focus on. Okay, so today's happy habit, it's simple. Be honest. Be honest. Honesty. I mean, be honest, right? Pun intended, but be honest. When you are telling the truth, if you don't feel better, that's something that needs to be explored. Seriously. Truth, it sounds cliche, but truth truly does set people free. It does, because you don't have to go to bed at night thinking, oh, I wasn't honest with them. Oh, I have this lie building up. I have that lie building up. I have another lie, and I am just accumulating lies. That doesn't feel good. That can't feel good. It's not sustainable. It's super unhealthy. And I feel like when you tell the truth and you're honest, you're going to feel better. So it's another happy habit. Be honest.
Thank you for tuning in to the TkActn podcast. Created and hosted by Nola, produced by TkActn Media, theme song by Mr. Melee, sponsored by The Hills Restaurant, Brooklyn, New York. Listen to us on all podcast platforms and follow us on social media at the TkActn podcast. Visit the thenolaroexperiespodcast.com and connect with us via email at talkwithnola@gmail.com.